Sync AI is a brand new protocol here building on Cardano, aiming to make the user experience that much easier. With a lot of their tools, what they aim to do is to make interacting with a crypto Dapp or just with your crypto wallet a breeze. Now you'll be able to do that using all of their tech, which includes Sync ID. They also have what they call Sync Echo, which allows for wallet to wallet chats to take place. And then they're also working on Sync Notify, which will be a feature to notify users when a particular action related to an account is about to occur. Now, as a part of today's video, I'm sitting down with Adnan, the founder of Sync AI, to break down all of the details and what we can expect following their successful testnet launch. We're also expecting their highly anticipated token sale, which we'll be discussing as a part of today's video. But without any further ado, if you enjoy content like this, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content like this, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. That said, enjoy today's video. What's up, Beta Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. My name's Fareed. As a part of today's video, we're talking about a really big narrative in this upcoming bull run, which is AI and a brand new platform launching on Cardano called Sync AI. Now they're aiming to make interacting with the entire crypto and blockchain ecosystems essentially seamless with a bunch of brand new features. And as a part of today's video, I'm sitting down with Adnan, the CEO and the founder of Sync AI, to break down everything that they have to offer to the Cardano ecosystem and other blockchains alike. Without any further ado, let me bring up today's guest. Adnan, welcome up. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks. And thanks for inviting me over. And I think, yeah, it's a great timing, market has been looking pretty solid and, since our launch is upcoming. So yeah, excited about the conversation today.
No, thank you for taking the time. And as you're speaking, Cardano ADA breaking into all-time highs. So let's go ahead and jump right on in here. Before we talk about Sync AI, for anybody that may be seeing you for the first time, can you give us a little bit of information about how you've come into Cardano and how you've found yourself as an actual builder now?
Yeah, sure. So, just like everyone, I started as a trader because I think most of the people, get interested in blockchains, crypto, Web3 as like, as a trading instrument. And then I really started deep diving into Bitcoin and, Charles, whiteboard video really made me sold into Cardano. And, that's how I started as a community member, like more than 4 years ago. I still remember I was around where IOG was still rolling out their testnet and inviting people to run stake pools and things like that. So it has been a pretty great journey so far. Then I moved forward to help a lot of builders in the space, working as a product architect, building MVPs for them and things like that. Then meanwhile in the journey, I also joined a venture capital firm where I served as a research partner for 2 years, where I've been, the primary job was to do due diligence of a lot of new companies that were building in Web3 that time. So a lot of new L1s, L2s, roll-ups, and things like that. And the key thing that intrigued me, like throughout my journey, was user experience in Web3, and that has been a core factor in my mind wherever I used to analyze things in terms of technical feasibility, how the project might perform in terms of their go to market strategy and things like that. So throughout the journey I've talked like really in depth with a lot of founders, and still I felt that since Ethereum launched smart contracts, we still haven't really figured out some of the key pressing issues, and that was my motivation behind starting Sync, and now I'm here.
Nice introduction. Now you mentioned, your expertise in UI or the sort of like user interface and user experience sector. Taking a look at crypto and Web3, I know that there's a lot of different issues, and I just want to quickly touch on three of them and then talk about how Sync AI is actually able to help solve those. So number one is identity fragmentation, right? Not being able to have a core identity tied to multiple blockchains. Number two, a lack of communication channels between dApps and smart contracts and users. And the number three, the inability to take quick and automated actions. And so how is Sync AI able to fix all of these three issues, and how are you guys able to do that?
Yeah, sure. So, just like a very quick intro of what we're trying to build is, before I jump into that, is we are trying to create a super app which is powered by a DePIN architecture on the back end, which is powered by a distributed group of nodes. Uh, they are connecting different chains, different applications, and different users into one single intuitive interface. So now what's happening? Suppose as a user, you are probably managing different wallets, interacting on different chains with different DeFi platforms, and the three key issues that you just mentioned really becomes like a very it becomes a headache in terms of, let me give you an example. So as a user, if you're going to a DeFi platform, or multiple DeFi platforms on different chains, and you have opened a position in a lending platform, you have taken a loan, and life gets busy and you forget about that, and the loan is nearing liquidation. There is no infrastructure in web3 in place like web2, which can actually you know interact or make the communication possible between the smart contracts and as a user, uh, and notify the user that, boss, your position is at risk on their mobile phones, because everything is happening on chain. We don't have any infrastructure which allows the user to know that what's happening with their, inside their wallet. They don't have any means. So what SyncAI is bridging essentially is that it not only notifies you, but we have our own LLM layer that we have trained on blockchain based data sets that will analyze your wallet activity. Now you have gotten a notification that your position is at risk. But if you want to take an action, you have to again open your browser, go to that website and connect your wallet and then see what's happening, then build a transaction and sign it. So this entire process of you doing that, we are going to abstract with a single click, because our LLM is capable of reading what has happened with your activity on chain, and it will suggest you one click action buttons, which are basically pre-built transactions. So now what do you want to do now? Do you want to put in more liquidity, or do you want to close the trade? And you just click them and it's done, it's over. You just sign it. So it basically is acting as an abstraction layer between you and all of your applications that you are trusting and you're using on a daily basis. So in a sense, that's what SyncAI will be basically catering to in terms of use case.
Very, very nice introduction there to Sync AI. And as this video is rolling, I'm really getting a better understanding of exactly what you just mentioned there, right? Where you're able to get real-time notifications, real-time alerts for things happening on chain, um, in a time where you might not necessarily be ready to, jump on your computer, whatever the case is, to take action, and being able to use a platform like Sync AI to do that for you. I think for me, it's a no-brainer, especially in a day and age where everybody's on the go and we typically just have our smartphone with us. And so understanding that, where is Sync AI right now in its current state of development?
Yeah, so we started with an incentivized testnet, which comes with a basic version of Sync ID. So, the whole idea behind Sync ID is to consolidate your all of the Web3 identities into one single identity layer. So, if you're coming as a Web3 user and not as a, Cardano or Bitcoin or Ethereum community member, just as a Web3 user, you want to utilize the best of all chains. Set up your sync ID. You don't need different wallets on the back end. Everything gets created automatically for you. We're bringing such uniqueness to the table because we are not building any sort of a DEX or another DeFi platform or things like that. So to really communicate our idea, we started with an incentivized testnet where people can come register a basic version of sync ID, and then we have certain tasks, interact with our tweets, read them, and basically give them more exposure in terms of what has been the thought process behind ideating our product, and they can start earning XPs. So it has been going very great so far. We have around 1400 plus users, and they have completed around 35,000 plus interactions until now. And moving forward, after TGE, after our IDO, we have been talking to a lot of different ecosystem partners from different chains. And what we are going to do is we are going to roll out a second version of testnet that is going to come with private nodes, in order to test out the security and consensus of the network. And people can then stake to these nodes, start earning some sync tokens. And the next version will have like a devnet, where we will invite builders from different ecosystems to utilize our modules, our AI agents, and the sync ID feature, and the ability to take those abstracted actions in an omni-chain manner. And then once that is done, we are going to roll out our mainnet with this super application on mobile phone on both Android and iOS. So that this has been the targeted roadmap that we will be focusing on after our launch.
Got it. And thank you. One thing that you mentioned there with the sync ID and the use case, so sort of brought up another question in mind for me, which
Yeah,
is security. And
yeah,
so looking at sync ID, there's mentions of palm-based authentication, the ability to link to social media, universal identifiers. Right now, we're in an information age where there's information flowing all around us. And as a result, there typically are breaches, right? Where maybe
yeah.
information is stolen, hacked, whatever the case is. In an instance with something like Sync AI, can you break down what security measures are in place to make sure that all the data that's collected isn't used incorrectly and that it isn't taken advantage of?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people had first confusion around the palm scan. The reason first we implemented that, then I'll come to the privacy issue, is because a lot of applications, when we uh, go to newer networks that are coming up in terms of like roll-ups and different chains, in the larger Web3 ecosystem, they have a very core issue of Sybil attacks, where if they are trying to incentivize network activity to test out their own network parameters, a lot of these bots and try to attack and take an advantage of that and things like that. So during the journey we thought, how can we implement a decentralized version of a KYC? So the best ways to do is take a non-intrusive method from a human identity, which are like biometrics like palm or your fingerprint, and attach it with your on-chain identity in the way that it's not at all privacy breaching, because nothing is being stored in like plain text or plain context as a unencrypted format, but it provides the applications a way to prove that you are a unique human. Because if you are going to come to the network again and show the same palm, or show the same fingerprint, the network is going to identify that it has been done previously, and it's not going to allow you to conduct those activities. So that part of the feature is basically more catered towards chains and ecosystem who really want to utilize that Sybil resistant thing in their ecosystem, who wants to build on top of Sync network. But it's completely optional. Users who do not want to do that can skip that. Now, coming to the issue of privacy, since you brought up the point that Sync ID is able to basically consolidate not only Web3 identities but also Web2 identities like WhatsApp, Telegram. The reason why we are doing that, first I'll come to that, is if you see Web2 platforms, they have more users than Web3 ever had. And when someone comes to the Web3 ecosystem, we generally tend to forget that they have their Web2 identities and they are leaving them completely behind. We just have Discord or Telegram as a means of communication at the moment with the founders, with the company people that we are interacting, but not with the applications. So what we thought of, what if you can get notifications and do all of these transactions in an omni-chain manner just using these platforms? Imagine you getting a loan liquidation alert that your loan is about to get liquidated on your WhatsApp. You are more tuned or fine tuned to act on that, because WhatsApp is such a heavily used application. Now, coming to the issue of privacy, when someone actually links these numbers, because WhatsApp you have to link your mobile number, how are you going to do that in a completely private manner? Is we have a blind compute interface, which we have partnered a company called Nillion, from they're very big in the EVM space. They have raised like millions and millions of dollars of funding to really solve the issue on how we can compute things in a completely blind format. So the internal nodes, or the whole network, does not have to store anything in plain text. So let me break it down. When you come to the platform and you link your WhatsApp number or anything, it gets encrypted right on your device. And that encryption key is going to be distributed over a group of nodes using multi-party computation. Those who are not aware can read more by just googling it. It's a very famous computational theorem where you can delegate parts of the encrypted key or a group of nodes. And suppose now a notification payload has been generated by the lending protocol because it wants to send you notification that your loan is liquidated to your WhatsApp. Now, how it is going to work? It is going to send it to your mobile device first on your mobile application, on the sync application. And that sync application is going to act as a delivery and decryption node, and the decryption will be happening directly on your phone, not anywhere else, not in a centralized server, not in the nodes, but on your phone. And from that, you are going to get the notification on the WhatsApp, because your phone can send out call to the WhatsApp API to notify you in a completely private manner. So that is how we are approaching this problem. And in future, we are going to decentralize it with our node infrastructure that is going to be coming, and it is scheduled for Q1 of next year, so people can test this out in the testnet and the devnet. And then yeah.
Now, and I appreciate you breaking that down. I want to shift gears and talk a little bit more about node operation and even just multi-chain support.
Yeah.
With something like Sync AI, are you guys running as a project on top of Cardano? Do you guys have your own blockchain? And then if you're doing your own thing, are there plans of incorporating notifications and just the Sync AI technology, right, to support other ecosystems and other blockchains outside of Cardano?
Yeah, so basically how the network is designed is, it works as an off-chain layer on top of different layer ones, L2s, and other networks that we are going to support in the near future after getting started on Cardano. So the transactions are not happening directly on Sync network, but Sync network is acting as a facilitator for building these transactions on these multiple networks in an interoperable manner from like a one single unified interface. And the nodes will be equipped with all the RPC endpoints to connect with different chains. And we are going to have our own listener modules. So we are going to start with Cardano. So Cardano will have its own listener module with its own smart contract. And then we are going to phase it out to Bitcoin, to Ethereum, to Base, to Solana. And that's how we are going to make an interconnected web of and giving the users an ability to take and execute these interactions in across any chain that we are going to support in a completely unified manner. So that's basically how the node operations are going to run.
Got it. As a quick follow-up, this is a big undertaking. I know AI is definitely nothing to play around with. Could you tell us a little bit more about the team that's helping you to actually put all this together? And just again, maybe a little bit about the experience that they bring to the table.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a, because we come from like India, and the whole team is based out of like Bangalore and Hyderabad. They're like tech capitals. They're called like Silicon Valleys of Asia. And I myself, majored in machine learning and data science. So we have currently an engineering team consisting of Cardano, EVM, and machine learning developers based in real life. And we are, so how we have been planning our strategy is, so the goal is, if you want to understand more about how the AI is working, in order to get the understanding from a technical feasibility perspective, because a lot of people get it wrong. When someone starts using AI, they just think it's a buzzword because it has been exploited a lot in the industry. What we have done is that we have taken raw blockchain data and we have segmented it and made it in a format that it's easily digestible by large language models out there. We are utilizing llama 3 8b, which is developed by Meta. So because one of the example, if I'll give in order to make this easier. You can come to sync AI interface and you can just type in that, hey, can you schedule a transaction on minswap? Can you buy snake repeatedly whenever there is a whale movement or the volume breaks 1 million ADA in 24 hours. So this is a kind of limit order, but based on different other conditions, which are not possible with the UI interface of applications. So you can just type it in natural language. And what our LLM does is it analyzes that complete query, and it utilizes external libraries, external APIs, because we have built our model in compatible with OpenAI SDK. It comes with function calling. It gives you the ability to call other external uh, resources in order to convert that query into a transaction building process. And what you get as an output is a built transaction. So we have trained is the wrong word, we have fine tuned the model over hundreds and thousands of different scenarios when it comes to DeFi, like lending, trading, intents, or just sending a payment to one person to another. Copy trading is one very famous aspect that we are going to focus. And what essentially it will do is it will easily be able to convert those queries into bill transaction with a lot of security features in middle, because the model needs to know all the parameters first in order to build that transaction, like what's the input token, what's the output token, what are the conditions it needs to execute it. And once that is set, it is going to log that fund into a smart wallet, a smart account, and it will be only triggered once those parameters are met. So this is how the whole AI thing is working in the background for those who are interested in. And now we're going to take this into a much more bigger level with, of course, much more capital in hand after RTG, and you're going to see a lot of exciting things in the coming months.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely have to jump on there and play around, and I'll leave the links to everything for the viewers that are interested in finding out more about Sync AI down below. Now, as we get ready to wrap things up here, there's one big piece of news that's coming up here, and if I'm not mistaken, it's actually related to the Sync token. So, for anybody who isn't aware, can you break down what the Sync token is, the utility it plays, and just sort of how this ties back into the ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. So basically, the primary utility of the sync token, because what sync is doing is it is enabling you to interact with all of different chains, and in very basic terms, it is helping you build transactions. So you are, every interaction, every transaction that is going to be flowing through the sync network will be subjected to a fees, and that fees is going to be collected in the treasury of the sync network. And this fees can be in any native token, so L1, L2, or even if someone wants to pay it via sync, they can do so by doing that. And then we have our node operators that are going to get this rewards in a distributed manner by providing resources to the network, and our delegators are going to stake to all of these node operators and provide security to the network with sync tokens. Now here's the interesting thing: they're providing security uh, by staking their sync tokens in the network. And by doing so, they can earn rewards in multiple currencies, because the network is collecting fees in multiple L1s and L2s. So take it as a cross-chain Babel fee concept, where Babel fee is a very popular concept in Cardano, and apply it to a cross-chain wide variety of network of major L1s, major native tokens of L2s, and roll-ups and things like that. And it will create a flywheel where people who are earning fees in all of these tokens by staking their sync token are going to buy back more sync token from the market and are going to stake more, because it basically creates a loop of a self-reinforcing cycle, where as more integrations grow in the network and as more transactions starts happening, the treasury will refill itself, and it is going to get distributed to the node operators and to the users, and basically driving that continuous cycle of growth. It deepens the liquidity, it creates more demand for the ecosystem in terms of integrations. So this is the whole, basically the utility and the network economics for those who are interested.
Yeah, thanks for breaking that down. That reminds me of a very similar model to another project I cover here, which is Nuvelo, where they basically, deal with they deal with a bunch of different other DePIN protocols, but they reward their community with a variety of different assets. And as you mentioned, right, early on, maybe there's rewards for Cardano specifically, but then as new networks come on, there's new opportunities because those chains are paying in different assets. So I definitely do appreciate that there, Adnan. Now, there's a lot of details about the actual token sale. I'm going to pull those up on screen, but could you share some of those with us here and how people can participate if they'd like to do so?
Yeah, sure. So our token sale is going to be happening on MinSwap on November 14th, and it's a pro rata type sale. And basically, we're allocating 36% to the sale and 5% for the liquidity operations. And one thing I want to mention here is that we have really, very thought very extremely well with some of the brightest minds in the Cardano space on how we are going to strategize liquidity management, and how we are going to strategize our vesting schedules and things like that. And we have run over like maybe some 15 plus different scenarios in terms of simulations, because it is going to be a very active network with a different lot of different dynamics. So we have made sure that all of the vestings, all of the cliff things are very aligned with the roadmap. So it supports the sustainability and the network health. And if you read our liquidity management paper, which is listed in our white paper, it will basically tell you that how we are going to utilize a significant portion of our raised data to manage the liquidity in the most effective manner by using a method called ascending Zapsin. So you can read more about it, but it's basically like we are going to utilize a small chunk of the raised ADA to first create the LP, and then utilize the rest of the ADA pool, which is like 15% that we are allocating for liquidity operations, and phase it out to buy back the tokens from the market in an ascending and randomized manner. So it promotes more volatility, promotes good token health, deepens the liquidity pool, and basically, it's overall good for the ecosystem dynamics. And if you guys, have been liking what we are building and all of the different ideas, one good way to get involved is, of course, token sales. So I think that it's going to be pretty exciting, and I'm really excited to just to roll it out, roll the network, roll the application going forward. And so I think, yeah, we are going to really use Cardano as a springboard through the sale and through all the integrations that we are going to do.
Thank you, and good luck with that upcoming sale. As we get ready to close things out here, Adnan, what are your thoughts about the future for Sync AI? What comes next? What is your focus after this big hurdle here?
Exactly. So we have very strategically planned out our go-to-market strategy. So the plan, as I was mentioning, start with Cardano, and then what we are going to do is focus on high TVL, high liquidity zones in Web3. In loose terms, it can translate to top 20 to top 50 DeFi platforms, which are generating multi-billion dollars worth of revenue each year. And we are going to make Sync as a middleware layer between those applications and their users, and tap into that significant portion of liquidity and make it flow through Sync network by providing their existing user base a much more intuitive, a much more intelligent way to interact with the same applications they trust and they use. So, and just to understand the propensity of it, if you see Uniswap, last 24-hour volume was like more than $1 billion. So the whole goal is to, bring a portion of that volume and make it flow through Sync AI by targeting all of the major DeFi platforms, which are, top 20, top 50. So we have a very pinpointed focus on, we are going to integrate those DeFi platforms and create our user acquisition strategies around that uh, with our network. So that's really the goal.
Perfect. And thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Adnan here, CEO and founder of the Sync AI platform, aiming to basically make the user interface or the user experience within the blockchain and crypto space that much easier using and leveraging AI and language learning models. As we've discussed here, there's quite a bit going on here with this project. You can get involved with the testnet. You can obviously get involved with the token sale. And if you just want to maybe just get your hands on the platform, right, just sort of just test things out to see how valuable this could actually be, definitely make sure to check out the links down below. Now, I want to say thank you for joining me here for today's interview. For the viewers, if you guys have found this to be helpful or if you just found this to be informational, please make sure to smash that thumbs up here on the way out. I definitely do appreciate it. If it's your first time stopping by Dapp Central and you want more content like this, breaking down all the building going on in Cardano, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. And last but not least, if you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below. Adnan, I want to say thank you again. And that said, and as always, we'll see you all in the next one. Cheers, everybody. Take care.